Stay quiet after disrespect. Denzel Washington Motivational Speech. Stoicism. Silence is a source of great strength. Lao Tzu. Have you ever faced a moment where someone's disrespect hit you like a punch and every part of you burned to respond? Your pulse quickens, your fists tighten, and your mind races with the perfect comeback. But here's the truth that few understand. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. I know it might sound counterintuitive. We're wired to fight back, to defend ourselves, to show the world that we're not to be messed with. But today, I'm here to tell you something different. Something that can transform the way you handle conflict. Silence is powerful. When wielded with intention, it can say more than words ever could. It becomes not just a shield, but a weapon, allowing you to protect your peace and turn the tables on disrespect. When you stay silent and refuse to react, you shift the balance of power. The other person, who expected a reaction, is left unsettled. In a world where everyone rushes to respond, driven by social media, constant news, and instant messaging, silence is rare. It stands out. So, what happens when you choose to hold back, to stay grounded, and let that disrespect pass like the wind? Let's dive into how this simple, stoic act can change everything. Welcome to Stoic in Your Life. Number 1. Silence as strength. Better to remain silent and be thought a fool than to speak out and remove all doubt. Abraham Lincoln. Silence is often misunderstood in today's fast-paced, reaction-driven world. We live in an era where an immediate response is seen as strength, a quick retort as power. But true strength lies not in how loudly we speak, but in how calmly we can remain silent when disrespected. For men between the ages of 30 and 65, understanding this principle can transform the way we navigate personal and professional challenges. When someone disrespects you, the instinctive response is to defend yourself, to fight back with words or actions, proving that you won't be walked over. Yet the power of silence, that deliberate pause, is a lesson as ancient as Stoicism itself. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This profound truth serves as a reminder that silence is not passivity, it's mastery over one's emotions. Picture this: a heated moment where someone's words sting, and your pulse quickens with the urge to retaliate. But instead of speaking, you take a breath and remain silent. This act alone shifts the dynamic. Your silence unsettles the other person. It forces them to reflect on their behavior without the justification of an argument. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you hold your tongue, you communicate a message stronger than any words could convey. You will not be controlled by someone else's negativity. In that pause, you assert your power, showing that your self-worth is not defined by external slights, but by your unyielding inner strength. This lesson applies deeply to our modern lives. We face countless moments where the noise around us beckons us to react, whether it's an unkind word from a colleague, a provocation from a friend, or a comment on social media. Each instance tests our discipline. By choosing silence, we shield ourselves from being drawn into unnecessary conflicts that drain our energy and compromise our peace. As the philosopher Seneca wisely noted, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." In other words, if you do not have control over how you respond, you will be at the mercy of every storm that comes your way. Consider Denzel Washington's motivational speeches, which often echo themes of resilience, self-respect, and the profound power of silence. He once said, "Sometimes it's not about what you say, but what you don't say." This insight is invaluable, especially in situations where reacting impulsively might feel gratifying at the moment but leads to regret later. Silence in the face of disrespect doesn't mean you're accepting mistreatment. Instead, it means you're choosing to rise above it, refusing to be dragged into someone else's chaos. This is where true Stoicism intersects with modern life. choosing what deserves your energy and attention. It is an act of choosing peace over temporary satisfaction. There is an art to silence that only becomes apparent with practice. It's not about fuming quietly or suppressing your feelings until they explode. It's about cultivating an inner detachment. By doing so, you gain the space to process the moment, understand your emotions, and decide on a response that aligns with your values, or decide not to respond at all. When you master this, you project an aura of confidence and control that commands respect. People start to notice that you don't react to provocation, and this composure becomes a shield. The noise of anger, arguments, and defensiveness only feeds those who thrive on conflict. But silence disarms them. To speak ill of others is a dishonest way of praising ourselves, said Will Durant, a historian who captured the essence of human behavior. When you refuse to participate in the verbal skirmishes initiated by others, you show that you don't need to tear someone down to elevate yourself. This mindset protects your peace and sets a powerful example for others around you. It shows that you are a man who values integrity over winning a petty argument. In our digitally connected world, where everyone rushes to share opinions and reactions, the man who holds his silence is a rare and compelling figure. Embracing silence does not mean you don't stand up for yourself. It means you know when to speak and when to remain silent, when your words will make an impact and when they will simply add to the noise. The next time someone disrespects you, pause. Think about what truly serves your well-being. Responding impulsively might feel like you're reclaiming power, but true power comes from knowing that you are in control of yourself. As Victor Hugo once said, "Caution is the eldest child of wisdom." Being silent in moments of disrespect is not just an act of caution, it's an expression of wisdom, strength, and a deep understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. In the silence, you will find freedom from the tug of negativity and from the need to prove yourself to those who don't matter. And that, my friends, is where real power begins. Stay quiet, stay grounded, and remember, the strongest voice you can use in the face of disrespect is sometimes the one that speaks nothing at all. Number 2, disarming through non-reaction. Disarming through non-reaction is a concept that, when understood, can change how you navigate conflict. Have you ever been in a situation where someone's words or actions felt like a direct attack, provoking every instinct to retaliate? In those moments, everything in you might urge you to respond, to prove you're not one to be trifled with. But what if I told you that the most powerful move you can make is not to react at all? This doesn't mean you're letting them win or allowing them to walk over you. It means you're choosing to rise above the chaos and maintain control. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This statement captures the core of disarming through non-reaction. Remaining calm and silent is not weakness. It's the ultimate strength. In a world where instant responses are encouraged and reacting quickly is often mistaken for power, staying silent is a rare and bold choice. Think of a situation at work where a colleague publicly questions your competence or makes a sharp remark during a meeting. Your natural response might be to fire back, to defend your abilities and reclaim your reputation. But imagine if you chose instead to remain composed, to hold your gaze steady without uttering a word. That silence speaks volumes. It shifts the burden back onto them, forcing them to contend with their own behavior. As Marcus Aurelius advised, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you choose not to engage, you refuse to grant others the power to disturb your peace. You are saying, without saying a word, that their negativity does not define you, nor does it control your actions. Consider how this approach applies to everyday life. In personal relationships, there are moments when arguments arise over misunderstandings or emotional outbursts. Reacting immediately can escalate the situation, turning a small conflict into a larger rift. But when you choose not to react, When you listen, pause, and maintain a steady silence, you create space for reflection. This space is powerful because it prevents the argument from spiraling and invites the other person to think about their own actions. Have you ever noticed that silence can make someone uncomfortable enough to reconsider their behavior? It's not about manipulation. It's about demonstrating that you won't be swayed by every emotional gust that comes your way. In this silence, you disarm their aggression and show that your sense of self-worth doesn't rely on engaging in every battle. A real-life example of this can be found in the stories of influential leaders and thinkers who refuse to be provoked. Think of a moment when Nelson Mandela, after years of unjust imprisonment, chose peace and reconciliation over retaliation. His silence in the face of immense disrespect and hardship spoke louder than any speech could have. This example shows that choosing non-reaction doesn't mean you are indifferent. It means you value your principles and long-term goals over momentary satisfaction. How might this look in your life? Perhaps a friend makes a cutting comment meant to spark a reaction, or someone online tries to bait you with harsh words. Would reacting bring you peace, or would it further entangle you in negativity? Choosing non-reaction is a way of preserving your energy for what truly matters and showing that your inner stability is unshakable. When you learn to disarm through non-reaction, you inspire respect from those around you. Your calmness sets a precedent. It tells people that you are not easily disturbed, that you think before you act. This isn't easy. It requires practice, a firm understanding of your values, and the ability to stay grounded when emotions are high. The next time you feel disrespected, pause and ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Am I reacting out of impulse or responding with intention? This mindset shift can help you navigate disagreements with a clearer head and more resilient heart. And the real lesson here is that silence is not just an absence of words, it's a deliberate act of self-respect and wisdom. It shows that you know when to engage and when to step back, making your eventual responses more impactful when they do come. To sum up, disarming through non-reaction is about reclaiming your power and refusing to be pulled into unnecessary conflicts. By staying silent, you don't give others control over your emotions or actions. You project an image of strength, composure, and confidence that few can shake. The next time you're faced with disrespect, remember this: silence is not surrender. It's the ultimate show of strength. As you practice this art, you'll find that not only does your peace grow, but so does the respect others have for you. So, I ask you, when the moment comes, will you react or rise above? Number 3. Self-control over impulse. Self-control over impulse is one of the most crucial traits you can develop, especially when dealing with disrespect. It's natural to feel a surge of anger or frustration when someone crosses the line or belittles you, but acting on that impulse often leads to regret. Instead, mastering the art of pausing before reacting can be transformative. As Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, said, "Any person capable of angering you becomes your master. He can anger you only when you permit yourself to be disturbed by him." This insight highlights that true control is not about dominating others, but managing your own reactions. Have you ever found yourself regretting words spoken in the heat of the moment, wishing you could take them back? The immediate gratification of venting your anger rarely leads to the long-term satisfaction of maintaining your dignity. Holding your silence doesn't mean you are weak. It means you value your peace and understand that not every battle is worth fighting. By choosing not to react impulsively, you stand firm in your power and show that you are not easily shaken by someone else's attempt to provoke you. Think about how often conflicts escalate simply because both parties refuse to pause and reflect. In today's world, where we are constantly bombarded with opinions and quick judgments, practicing self-control becomes even more essential. As Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By taking control over your impulses, you refuse to let others dictate your emotional state. When someone disrespects you, the most powerful response is often no response at all. It creates an air of confidence and composure that others notice. People who are quick to react often lose the respect of those around them, while those who can remain calm and deliberate under pressure gain admiration and trust. So, ask yourself, the next time someone disrespects you, will you react impulsively or take a moment to pause and choose your response wisely? Practicing self-control does not mean suppressing your emotions. Rather, it involves acknowledging your feelings without letting them control you. When you learn to respond rather than react, you maintain your peace and protect your mental space. This doesn't mean you allow disrespect to go unnoticed. There are times to stand your ground, but how you do it makes all the difference. Responding from a place of calm and thoughtfulness is far more effective than lashing out from a place of anger. Nelson Mandela, after enduring years of injustice, said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." This powerful statement is a reminder that holding on to impulsive reactions and letting them fester only hurts you. Instead, when you face a situation that challenges your patience, think of your response as a choice that reflects your strength and not your weakness. Consider modern scenarios where this principle applies. Perhaps you're in a heated discussion at work, and a colleague makes an unfair comment meant to undermine you. Your first instinct may be to retort quickly to defend your reputation, but what if you took a breath, let their words hang in the air, and chose not to react in that moment? The silence can be powerful, signaling that you are not swayed by petty attempts to destabilize you. It gives you time to gather your thoughts and respond, if necessary, from a place of confidence and authority. This approach not only disarms those who seek to provoke you, but also demonstrates that your self-worth does not hinge on others' opinions. So, why give them the satisfaction of seeing you unsettled? Self-control over impulse is also a skill that enhances your relationships. How many arguments with friends, partners, or family members could have been avoided if someone simply paused before responding? By choosing not to react impulsively, you create space for understanding and resolution. When tensions rise, take a moment to ask yourself, is my reaction going to improve this situation or make it worse? This simple question can be the key to de-escalating conflicts and preserving relationships. Remember, choosing not to react doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to respond with intention. It shows that you respect yourself enough to not let someone else dictate your behavior. One of the greatest lessons in life is realizing that the only thing you truly have control over is yourself. In moments of disrespect, that control is tested, but choosing self-control over impulse can be the most powerful statement you make. As the old adage goes, "He who angers you conquers you." By mastering your reactions, you show that no one can control your peace but you. The next time someone tries to provoke you, pause, breathe, and remember that true strength lies in choosing how you respond. So, will you let others pull you into their storm? Or will you stand calm, rooted in the eye of the hurricane? Number 4. Reflective space for growth. Reflective space for growth is an often overlooked yet powerful tool for navigating life's challenges, especially when dealing with moments of disrespect. We live in a world that demands immediate responses, quick comebacks, and instant solutions. But the truth is, the most profound growth happens in the quiet moments when you allow yourself to step back and reflect. As Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This means that when you take time to reflect instead of reacting on impulse, you shape your inner self, cultivating resilience and wisdom. Now think about the last time someone disrespected you. Maybe it was a colleague making a snide comment or a stranger's rudeness. The urge to respond sharply is strong, isn't it? But choosing to pause and reflect instead of reacting immediately gives you a unique power. It creates a space where you can assess the situation, understand your emotions, and choose a response aligned with your values. Reflective space allows you to shift from being reactive to being proactive. When you don't rush to respond, you regain control over your emotions, and in doing so, you break the cycle of negativity. Think of this space as a buffer between action and reaction, a chance to decide if a response is even necessary or if silence itself can convey strength. This idea is echoed by Viktor Frankl, who said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom." Embracing this space can be transformative. Instead of letting anger dictate your words and actions, you gain clarity and self-respect. The next time you feel that rush of indignation, ask yourself, what will this reaction achieve? Will it bring me peace or push me further into turmoil? Applying this concept in modern life means recognizing that not everything needs an immediate answer or a heated reply. The digital age has conditioned us to react instantly. A tweet, a post, a comment, all prompt us to engage without thought. But wisdom lies in the pause. When faced with provocation, take a breath and create a reflective space for growth. Consider the story of Denzel Washington's approach to life's challenges and how his philosophy often aligns with Stoic teachings. Washington once said, "You never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice." This strength is not just in bold actions, but in the quiet discipline of knowing when to hold back. In relationships, whether at work or in your personal life, reflective space can be the difference between escalating a conflict and finding a path to understanding. Think of a moment when a heated argument could have been avoided if one party chose to listen and reflect instead of firing back. By giving yourself time to pause, you demonstrate maturity and respect, both for yourself and others. This approach does not mean you avoid standing up for yourself. Rather, it ensures that when you do, your response is grounded, thoughtful, and impactful. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Often, our immediate reactions are fueled by fears and assumptions that, upon reflection, lose their power. When you create space to reflect, you allow reality to set in, dispelling unnecessary fears and making room for a clear, composed response. A practical way to integrate reflective space into your life is by practicing mindfulness and conscious breathing. When someone disrespects you or a situation stirs your emotions, take a deep breath before responding. This simple act slows down your racing thoughts and gives you a moment to think, a moment that can save you from regret and reinforce your inner peace. Ask yourself, is my peace worth sacrificing for this? The answer will often guide you to silence or a carefully chosen word rather than an impulsive reaction. By doing so, you maintain your dignity and set a standard for how you wish to be treated. Over time, people will recognize that you are not easily swayed by provocations and that your silence or measured response is not passive, but powerful. Reflective space for growth doesn't just protect your peace, it helps you evolve. The more you practice it, the more you become someone who doesn't just react, but responds with purpose. This is a vital skill for men, especially those navigating the pressures of leadership, relationships, and personal integrity. Life will always present moments where disrespect or challenges arise, but how you handle them defines your character. The next time you're tested, choose to pause. Let that reflective space become your ally, allowing you to respond with strength, not impulse. As Lao Tzu wisely said, "He who controls others may be powerful, but he who has mastered himself is mightier still." Remember, true power isn't in loud reactions, but in quiet, deliberate responses. So, will you let your impulses lead you, or will you master the art of pausing to grow? Thank you for being part of today's video. Before we proceed, I want to thank you for your participation in our community. Feel free to share your thoughts, or simply comment, "I am a newbie," if you're new, or "I am a Stoic," if you've been around. Your interaction is a great source of motivation for us. Let's continue this journey together, shall we? Number 5. Protecting inner peace. Protecting your inner peace is one of the most valuable skills you can develop, especially in a world that seems determined to test it at every turn. It's easy to let outside influences disrupt your calm. An unkind word, A dismissive gesture or a sharp comment can stir your emotions and make you feel the urge to retaliate. But here's the truth. Your inner peace is worth more than winning any argument or proving a point. As the philosopher Seneca wisely said, "He who is brave is free." And part of that freedom comes from mastering your responses and not allowing others to dictate how you feel. So, how do you protect that peace when faced with disrespect? The answer lies in recognizing that you hold the power to choose how you react. You don't have to engage every time someone tries to provoke you. Instead, you can pause, breathe, and decide if responding is truly in your best interest. Think of the last time you faced an insult or rude behavior. Maybe it was a colleague questioning your competence in a meeting or a stranger cutting you off in traffic with an aggressive gesture. Did responding in anger or frustration improve your day, or did it leave you feeling drained and unsettled? Often, reacting impulsively only robs us of our peace. By choosing silence or a composed response, you take control of the narrative and send a clear message. Your peace is not for sale. Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic thinker, once noted, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote emphasizes that true power comes not from changing others, but from maintaining control over your own thoughts and reactions. In today's world, protecting your inner peace means resisting the urge to be reactive, especially with the constant noise of social media, work pressures, and personal interactions. Picture this. A friend posts a subtle dig on social media, or a coworker sends an unnecessarily critical email. Your immediate reaction might be to fire back, to defend yourself and set the record straight. But what if instead you paused? What if you chose to respond in a way that prioritized your well-being over momentary satisfaction? This shift in perspective can be life-changing. It's not about ignoring problems or pretending that negative moments don't exist. It's about acknowledging them and deciding not to let them control you. Ask yourself, will responding to this serve my peace or drain it? This question alone can transform how you handle challenging moments. Reflect on the example of public figures who demonstrate grace under fire. Think of Denzel Washington, known for his wisdom and poise, and how he embodies the essence of staying grounded when faced with adversity. His speeches often remind us that silence, when chosen deliberately, speaks volumes. He once said, "Don't be driven by the opinions of others. You are not defined by their view of you, but by your view of yourself." This aligns perfectly with the Stoic principle of protecting one's inner sanctuary. It reminds you that peace is not passive. It's an active state you guard fiercely by choosing your battles and deciding when it's worth speaking up and when it's better to stay silent. Take, for example, the story of a friend who chose peace over chaos. He worked in a competitive corporate environment where one colleague, driven by insecurity, would consistently try to undermine him in meetings. The first few times, my friend's instinct was to defend himself immediately, but he realized that these reactions only fueled the tension and left him feeling agitated. One day he decided to simply smile and say, "Thank you for your input," without offering any further reaction. The silence was powerful, disarming his colleague and reinforcing my friend's strength. Over time, this approach not only protected his peace but shifted the way others perceived him, as someone confident, composed, and in control. So, how can you incorporate this practice into your life? Start by taking a moment before responding to any provocation, big or small. This moment allows you to assess whether engaging will protect or compromise your inner peace. Choose responses that align with your values and demonstrate respect for yourself. If speaking up is necessary, do it with calm and intention, not with the chaos of impulse. Remember, protecting your inner peace doesn't mean avoiding confrontation altogether. It means engaging when it's truly warranted and stepping back when it's not. As the ancient Stoics would agree, the greatest victory is mastering oneself. So the next time someone tries to disrupt your calm, pause, breathe, and ask, "Is this worth my peace?" You'll find that most times the answer is no. In that choice, you'll discover the profound strength of staying quiet and preserving your power. Number 6. Setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is an essential skill for maintaining your inner peace and self-respect, especially when facing disrespect. It's easy to think that setting boundaries means creating conflict or coming off as defensive, but in reality, boundaries are a profound act of self-care that tells the world what you will and won't accept. As the great poet Rumi said, "Don't be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth." In other words, you are the author of your life, and setting boundaries is part of writing a story where you protect your worth. Now think about times when you felt disrespected, whether it was a friend who constantly belittled your efforts or a coworker who undermined your contributions. How did you respond? Did you stay silent out of discomfort? Or did you find a way to express that their behavior crossed a line? Setting boundaries doesn't mean you need to be confrontational, but it does mean speaking up when necessary, and doing so with clarity and calm. One of the most effective ways to set boundaries is through non-verbal cues and firm, respectful words. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, famously noted, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." When you set a boundary, you are exercising that power over your mind, asserting what is and isn't acceptable in your life. Picture this: a friend who frequently makes jokes at your expense during gatherings. Instead of letting resentment build, you pause, look them in the eye, and calmly say, "I appreciate humor, but I'd like us to keep it respectful." This small act sends a powerful message. You value yourself enough to address behavior that disrupts your peace. Boundaries, after all, aren't just about protecting yourself. They're about teaching others how to treat you. But why do so many of us struggle with setting boundaries? Often, it's rooted in the fear of losing relationships or appearing difficult. Yet, ask yourself, what is more valuable? Preserving a friendship that constantly erodes your self-worth or standing firm in your truth? Setting boundaries shows that you respect yourself and encourages others to do the same. Consider this. Would you rather be surrounded by people who feel free to cross your boundaries or by those who understand and honor them? Remember, setting boundaries doesn't push people away. It brings the right people closer. Denzel Washington once said, "You pray for rain, you gotta deal with the mud too." That's a part of it. Establishing boundaries may feel uncomfortable at first, but it's part of building a life where your peace is protected and respected. In modern life, where personal and professional demands blur the lines of respect, knowing how to set clear boundaries is more important than ever. Think of your work environment, where colleagues might overload you with tasks or push past your limits. What would happen if you said, "I am at capacity and can't take on more right now"? Would it create tension, or would it set a precedent that you're someone who values their time and limits? The more you practice setting boundaries, the easier it becomes to maintain them. And when you do, you teach people that you won't compromise your well-being for the sake of convenience or conflict avoidance. So, what are the boundaries you need to set in your own life? Is there a situation right now where speaking up could protect your peace and strengthen your self-worth? It's not easy, but every time you set a boundary, you're reinforcing your values and teaching the world how to respect you. Embrace that discomfort, because in it lies the path to a life where your peace is non-negotiable and your self-respect is unwavering. Number 7. Forcing introspection in others. Forcing introspection in others is one of the most powerful yet understated impacts of remaining silent after experiencing disrespect. When someone disrespects you, your immediate urge may be to respond, to defend yourself, or to engage in a verbal battle to set the record straight. But what if you took a different approach? What if you chose silence, allowing the weight of their words to echo back to them without interference? This is where true strength lies, and as Epictetus wisely said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it, that matters. Choosing silence isn't about passivity. It's about creating space for the other person to confront their own behavior. When you do not engage, it forces them to sit with their words and actions, often leading them to reflect on whether their behavior was justified or necessary. This silence becomes a mirror, making them face themselves without the distraction of your response. In modern life, where quick responses and instant gratification dominate, this practice is more relevant than ever. Whether it's a heated argument at work or a passive-aggressive remark from a friend or family member, your silence can disarm them. Picture this. Someone makes a cutting comment, expecting you to bite back. Instead, you meet their words with composed silence, refusing to be pulled into their storm. That quiet moment leaves them with only their conscience as company. Denzel Washington has often spoken about the value of maintaining dignity in the face of adversity, once saying, "Ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship." When you choose not to respond to disrespect, it disrupts the expected pattern, prompting the other person to question themselves, something far more powerful than any retort you could have given. Silence in these moments does not mean you are avoiding confrontation. It means you are mastering your emotions. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By choosing to stay quiet, you preserve your energy and demonstrate self-control, which in itself commands respect. Think about the last time you witnessed someone remain calm under provocation. Didn't it leave a lasting impression, showing their unshakable strength? When you refuse to engage with someone's negativity, you show that your self-worth is not up for debate, teaching them that their disrespect does not diminish you. This forces them into a space of introspection where they have to grapple with their actions without the distraction of your reaction. A practical way to apply this in everyday life is to pause before reacting when faced with disrespect. It can be at work, where a colleague's criticism feels unfair, or in a personal relationship where emotions can run high. By choosing to stay silent, you're not avoiding the issue. You're taking control of the narrative. You are showing that you can handle the situation on your terms, and that power shifts the dynamic in your favor. It's important to remember that the goal isn't to make the other person feel bad, but to set a precedent that you won't be easily rattled. This not only protects your peace, but subtly educates those around you on how to treat you with respect. So the next time someone disrespects you, ask yourself, will my reaction add value, or is silence the better teacher? You might find that silence, though difficult at first, creates the space for growth, for both you and the person who crossed the line. As Lao Tzu said, silence is a source of great strength. It encourages reflection, demands respect, and preserves your inner calm. By mastering this art, you not only maintain your dignity, but also inspire others to reconsider their behavior. In a world where noise is constant, be the one who lets silence speak for itself. This practice teaches others that while they may attempt to pull you into chaos, only you control your response. And in that quiet space, they are left to face the most challenging critic of all, themselves. Number 8. The value of selective response. The value of a selective response is an essential lesson for anyone who wishes to maintain inner peace and control over their emotions. We live in a fast-paced world where reactions are instant, and responding quickly is often seen as a sign of power and intelligence. However, true strength lies in knowing when to respond and when to remain silent. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This teaches us that our power comes not from the words we speak, but from our ability to choose our responses thoughtfully. Have you ever been in a heated discussion where you felt the urge to defend yourself immediately, only to regret your words later? That impulse is common, but learning to pause, reflect, and respond selectively can prevent unnecessary conflict and preserve your peace. Choosing silence or a measured response can be far more impactful than meeting disrespect with more noise. Think of a moment in modern life when a selective response could have changed the outcome of a confrontation. Picture this. You're in a meeting, and a colleague makes an unfair comment about your work. Your first instinct might be to lash out, defending your position and pride. But what if instead, you chose to pause, give a brief nod, and let the silence speak for itself? That choice shows composure and shifts the focus back on them, leaving them to reflect on their words without your immediate rebuttal. Denzel Washington once emphasized in his motivational speeches that you don't have to react to every insult or challenge. Sometimes silence speaks louder. This approach teaches the lesson that not everything requires a response, and when you choose your battles wisely, you conserve your energy for what truly matters. Selective response is not about avoiding confrontation. It's about mastering the art of responding with intention. When you react impulsively, you hand over control to the person who provoked you. But when you pause and assess whether a response is necessary, you regain control and maintain your dignity. Marcus Aurelius in Meditations noted, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This mindset encourages you to weigh your responses carefully and determine if engaging will bring value or just amplify the noise. How many times have you been in an argument where saying less would have served you better? By practicing the value of selective response, you demonstrate to yourself and others that you are not ruled by your impulses, and you set a standard for how you wish to be treated. Consider the story of a successful business leader who faced public criticism from a rival company. Instead of responding with immediate defensiveness, he chose to stay silent, allowing his work and reputation to speak for him. This silence not only disarmed the critics, but gained him respect from peers and employees alike. The lesson here is that sometimes, a well-placed pause can say more than an elaborate defense ever could. Ask yourself, the next time someone pushes your buttons, is this worth my energy? Will my response improve the situation or just satisfy my pride? Reflecting on these questions can guide you to make better choices in how you react. The power of a selective response is about preserving your energy for moments that truly matter. It's about understanding that your peace of mind is priceless, and not every slight or provocation deserves your attention. This is not to say you should never stand up for yourself. There are times when speaking up is necessary and warranted, but the wisdom lies in knowing the difference and being confident enough to choose silence when it serves you best. As Lao Tzu said, silence is a source of great strength. So, the next time someone disrespects you or tries to pull you into their chaos, pause, reflect, and ask yourself if responding aligns with your values and peace. In doing so, you'll find that not only do you maintain your calm, but you also encourage introspection in others. Remember, your selective response isn't just about avoiding conflict, it's about choosing how you wish to navigate the world with grace and strength. Number 9. Breaking cycles of negativity. Breaking cycles of negativity is one of the most empowering skills you can cultivate, and it starts with choosing silence when faced with disrespect. In a world where reacting quickly is often mistaken for strength, learning when to stay quiet can be a game changer. How often do we find ourselves pulled into arguments that drain our energy and escalate into larger conflicts? When you react immediately, especially in anger, you become part of the cycle of negativity, contributing to an ongoing battle where no one truly wins. But when you pause and choose silence, you disrupt this cycle and reclaim control over the situation. As the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." By holding back from an impulsive response, you show that your peace and self-respect matter more than a momentary win. Consider how this idea applies to everyday life. Maybe you're at work, and a colleague makes a snide remark that feels like a jab at your competence. Your initial reaction might be to snap back with a biting retort. But ask yourself, would that really make you feel better, or would it just fuel the fire? Instead, if you choose to stay quiet, you send a powerful message that you are confident enough not to be rattled by someone else's negativity. This silence forces them to confront their own behavior without your words to deflect from it. Denzel Washington once said, "Sometimes it's not what you say, but what you don't say that makes the difference." When you stay silent, you allow the other person to sit with the weight of their own actions, breaking the cycle and prompting introspection that words often fail to achieve. Breaking cycles of negativity doesn't mean you ignore problems or let others walk all over you. It means choosing when to respond and when to let silence do the work for you. Think of a time when you've seen someone maintain their composure while others around them lost theirs. Didn't it command respect? Silence is not avoidance, it's strategic. It tells the world that you value your peace more than the fleeting satisfaction of engaging in conflict. The next time someone tries to pull you into their storm, take a breath and ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will engaging make things better or just add fuel to the fire? By pausing, you not only protect your own well-being, but set an example for others around you. In relationships, this principle is even more vital. Whether it's a disagreement with a partner or a heated conversation with a friend, reacting out of anger often leaves both parties feeling worse. But when you choose to hold back, to listen and reflect before responding, you break the chain reaction that turns simple disagreements into full-blown arguments. As Seneca wisely said, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. By choosing silence and reflection, you allow space for understanding and calm, transforming potential conflict into an opportunity for growth. What would it look like if, in your own life, you made the conscious choice to break the cycle of negativity more often? Ultimately, the goal isn't to avoid difficult conversations but to approach them with clarity and intention. When you choose silence strategically, you hold on to your power and demonstrate that you are not controlled by others' actions. This choice not only preserves your peace, but also influences those around you to reconsider their behavior. So the next time you're faced with disrespect, pause, reflect, and decide whether your response will contribute to peace or perpetuate negativity. Remember, your silence can be more powerful than any response, and in that silence, you break the cycle and reclaim your strength. If you've made it this far, you're embracing the power of true strength. Drop a comment saying, "I am grounded," to show your commitment to mastering the art of silence and resilience. Stay with us. Your journey to inner peace is just beginning. Number 10. Long-term victory. Long-term victory is a concept that transcends the desire for immediate satisfaction and teaches us the power of patience and strategic thinking. In the face of disrespect, your first impulse may be to react, to defend your honor with sharp words or decisive actions. Yet true victory isn't found in winning every battle, but in preserving your peace and dignity over time. As Marcus Aurelius put it, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By choosing to stay quiet in moments of disrespect, you show that you are playing the long game, one where your character and composure speak louder than any immediate comeback ever could. This silence isn't weakness, it's a sign of strength that unsettles those who seek to provoke you, forcing them to confront their behavior without the shield of your reaction. Consider this. When someone disrespects you, they are often looking for a response to justify their own actions. If you engage, you fall into their trap, reinforcing their negative behavior. But when you stay silent, maintaining your focus and confidence, it disrupts their expectations and leaves them to face the weight of their own words. Denzel Washington once remarked, "Sometimes it's not what you say, but what you don't say that speaks volumes." This perspective is a reminder that silence can be more powerful than any argument, allowing you to rise above the immediate fray and preserve your energy for what truly matters. How many times have you regretted an impulsive reaction that only escalated a situation? By choosing the long-term path, you cultivate a sense of resilience that shields you from being swayed by momentary emotions. In our fast-paced, reactionary world, it can be difficult to see the value in holding back, but practicing restraint is a lesson in self-mastery. When you prioritize long-term victory, you begin to understand that not every challenge needs a response, and not every slight deserves your energy. The ancient Stoics taught that true power lies in the ability to control oneself rather than attempting to control others. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By focusing on your response, or the decision not to respond, you maintain control over your state of mind and protect your inner peace. This mindset can transform how you handle conflicts in both personal and professional settings. Think about a modern scenario. Perhaps a coworker questions your competence in front of your peers, or a friend makes a comment that hits a nerve. The quick retort might feel satisfying in the moment, but does it lead to long-term respect or peace? More often than not, these quick reactions create a cycle of negativity that benefits no one. Instead, what if you chose to pause, reflect, and respond only if necessary, and even then, with calm and clarity? This approach commands respect and shows that you value your integrity over temporary satisfaction. Silence, used strategically, becomes a statement that says, "I am not governed by your provocations." The respect you gain from this approach is deeper and more enduring, because it shows that your self-worth isn't dictated by external opinions or fleeting conflicts. The long-term victory is also about how you carry yourself after the moment of disrespect has passed. It's about showing that you are capable of moving forward without being burdened by grudges or bitterness. Nelson Mandela, who faced immense trials during his life, famously said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." Letting go and choosing to prioritize your well-being over a need for immediate justice leads to a life where you are not shackled by others' negativity. By focusing on long-term growth and inner peace, you build a reputation as someone who cannot be easily shaken, a quality that commands admiration and influence. So, the next time you face disrespect, ask yourself, will this reaction bring me lasting satisfaction or just a fleeting sense of victory? Often, the true path to winning is choosing not to play the game at all. By staying quiet and composed, you position yourself as someone who is strong enough to prioritize their own peace over momentary satisfaction. In that space, you find the real power, a victory that resonates far beyond the moment, shaping who you are and how you are remembered. Remember, true success isn't about winning the most battles. It's about winning the war within yourself by maintaining peace, dignity, and unwavering strength. Number 11. Choosing battles wisely. Choosing battles wisely is an art that many people overlook, but it is essential for maintaining peace and ensuring long-term success. In a world filled with noise and provocations, knowing when to engage and when to step back can define not just your relationships but your overall quality of life. It's easy to feel compelled to address every slight or challenge, to prove your worth or defend your stance. But as the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you but how you react to it that matters. This powerful reminder shifts the focus from external events to internal control. When faced with disrespect, ask yourself, is this battle worth my energy? Will responding truly bring me closer to peace or push me further into chaos? Choosing battles wisely means recognizing that not every challenge deserves your attention. Some are better left unanswered for the sake of preserving your inner strength and sanity. Think about a moment when you decided to respond to an unnecessary provocation and how it made you feel afterward. Did it resolve the situation, or did it only drag you deeper into frustration? For instance, in a modern work setting, perhaps a colleague undermines your ideas during a meeting. Your immediate instinct may be to react sharply to defend your competence. But what if you paused and evaluated whether responding would truly change the outcome? Sometimes silence or a composed, strategic response leaves a more significant impact than engaging in a back-and-forth argument. Denzel Washington once said, You don't have to respond to every dog that barks. This metaphor underlines that not every provocation requires your reaction, and sometimes maintaining your composure speaks volumes about your character. Choosing battles wisely doesn't mean you avoid standing up for yourself. It means you pick the moments when doing so aligns with your values and serves a higher purpose. In personal relationships, this lesson is especially valuable. How many times have arguments spiraled out of control because both parties insisted on being right? By assessing whether a conversation or dispute is worth your time, you save yourself from unnecessary stress and preserve the harmony in your relationships. As Marcus Aurelius noted, you always own the option of having no opinion. There is never a need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control. This profound wisdom can guide you to choose silence when it benefits you more than any spoken word could. In practice, choosing your battles means taking a moment to breathe and reflect before reacting. It means understanding that every action has consequences, and the energy you spend in conflicts could be better used in pursuits that enrich your life. When a friend or family member says something hurtful, you have the choice to react impulsively or to pause and ask yourself, is this worth disrupting my peace? This question alone can shift how you navigate disagreements and ensure that you respond in ways that align with your best interests. Remember, even silence can be a powerful response that compels others to think twice about their behavior. It's not about letting others walk over you. It's about showing that your peace is too valuable to be compromised by trivial disputes. Choosing battles wisely ultimately empowers you to maintain control over your emotions and actions. It teaches you that true power is not in dominating every argument, but in knowing which ones matter and deserve your attention. The next time you feel the urge to react, pause and consider whether the battle aligns with your long-term peace and goals. By doing this, you practice self-respect and demonstrate that your worth isn't defined by engaging in every conflict. As you navigate life, remember that the greatest victories often come not from winning every fight, but from having the wisdom to know which ones are worth fighting. In making this choice, you protect your energy, maintain your composure, and set an example for those around you, showing that true strength is rooted in restraint and thoughtful action. Number 12. Empowering detachment. Empowering detachment is a powerful practice that allows you to maintain control of your emotions and stay true to your values, even when facing disrespect or negativity. It doesn't mean you don't care. Rather, it means you choose not to let someone else's behavior dictate your peace of mind. As Epictetus once said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This approach teaches you to separate yourself from the chaos and recognize that your worth isn't defined by how others treat you, but by how you respond. Have you ever found yourself getting worked up over someone's comment or action, only to realize later that it wasn't worth the emotional toll? This is where the power of detachment comes in. By detaching, you give yourself the space to evaluate the situation calmly and decide whether it truly warrants a response, or whether your silence and composure would speak louder. Think about moments in your daily life where empowering detachment could save you from unnecessary stress. Perhaps you receive a critical remark from a colleague or face an insensitive comment from a friend. The immediate reaction might be to engage, defend yourself, or prove them wrong. But what if you paused and considered whether responding would truly benefit you or just pull you into a cycle of negativity? Detachment allows you to step back and see the bigger picture, to remember that your peace is more valuable than a fleeting argument. Denzel Washington once said, "You will never be criticized by someone who is doing more than you. You will only be criticized by someone doing less." This insight can remind you that often, the negativity directed at you is more about the other person's insecurities than your own flaws. Practicing empowering detachment also means understanding that you cannot control others, only your response to them. It's about accepting that some situations are beyond your influence and choosing to preserve your well-being over engaging in every confrontation. This doesn't mean that you avoid all difficult conversations. It means you approach them from a place of strength and calm, rather than reaction and defensiveness. So, How can you start practicing detachment in your life? Begin by pausing when you feel provoked, taking a deep breath and asking yourself, is this worth my peace? If the answer is no, then choose silence, reflection, or a measured response that aligns with who you want to be. In doing so, you show that your sense of self is rooted in inner confidence, not in the approval or disapproval of others. Empowering detachment isn't just about protecting yourself from stress. It's about mastering your own emotional landscape. It's about showing up in the world with a sense of resilience that others notice and respect. When you detach from the need to react to every provocation, you demonstrate that your energy is reserved for what truly matters, and that in itself is a powerful statement. The next time you face a situation that tests your patience, ask yourself, will engaging in this bring me peace or pull me further from it? More often than not, you'll find that detachment offers the freedom and empowerment to stay grounded and true to yourself, allowing you to lead a life defined by strength, not by the noise around you. Number 13. Leading by example. Leading by example is one of the most powerful ways to inspire and influence those around you, especially when facing moments of disrespect. It's not just about what you say, it's about how you act when challenged. When you choose to stay calm and composed in difficult situations, you set a standard that others can't ignore. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." This applies to how we handle ourselves. Those who crave constant validation or victory in arguments are often the ones left feeling depleted. Leading by example means showing that true strength comes from self-control and the ability to maintain dignity in the face of provocation. Think about how many times you've witnessed someone respond to an insult or criticism with grace instead of anger. Didn't it leave an impression? That's because demonstrating calm under pressure speaks louder than any heated response ever could. When Denzel Washington talks about staying quiet after being disrespected, he emphasizes that silence is not weakness. It's a display of confidence and control. The same idea resonates in modern life. Imagine being in a meeting where a colleague undermines you. Your immediate urge might be to defend yourself passionately. But what if instead, you took a moment, listened, and responded with a thoughtful statement or chose to stay silent altogether? This not only diffuses tension, but leaves others questioning their own behavior and respecting yours. Leading by example also means recognizing that your actions teach others how to handle conflict. If you meet every challenge with hostility, those around you may see confrontation as the norm. However, if you demonstrate patience and poise, you show that there's strength in measured responses. This approach doesn't mean you shy away from difficult conversations. It means you choose when and how to engage for the most positive outcome. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Your actions set a precedent, especially in personal relationships where emotions can run high. If your children, friends, or colleagues see you respond to criticism or disrespect with calm authority, they learn that maintaining peace doesn't equate to weakness. It reflects inner strength. So how can you start leading by example in your own life? Start by assessing your reactions when tensions rise. Take a deep breath, pause, and ask yourself, will my response reflect the person I strive to be? This small shift in thinking can transform how you navigate conflicts. The next time you're faced with a challenging moment, remember that choosing to respond with grace sets a tone for those around you. In doing so, you show that you value your peace and self-respect above temporary victories. People will notice, and over time, you'll find that leading by example not only enhances your personal interactions, but also cultivates an environment where respect is mirrored back to you. True leadership and influence come from embodying the qualities you wish to see in others, proving that silence, patience, and measured actions are powerful tools for growth and respect. Number 14. Reaffirming self-worth. Reaffirming self-worth is essential for maintaining confidence and resilience, especially when faced with disrespect. Too often we look for validation from others, letting their opinions shape how we feel about ourselves. But true self-worth isn't determined by external voices. It comes from within. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This perspective is vital when dealing with moments of disrespect. When someone questions your value or undermines you, it's tempting to react defensively. However, the most powerful response can be holding your ground silently, reminding yourself that your worth isn't up for debate. Think about a time when someone's harsh words or dismissive behavior made you doubt yourself. Did responding in anger or trying to prove them wrong actually improve how you felt? Or did it just pull you deeper into their negativity? By choosing to stay quiet, you take back control and signal to yourself and others that your confidence doesn't waver in the face of criticism. Denzel Washington once spoke about staying centered, saying, "Don't be driven by the opinions of others. You are not defined by their view of you, but by your view of yourself." This idea aligns perfectly with the practice of reaffirming self-worth, choosing to believe in your inherent value regardless of how others behave. In modern life, reaffirming your self-worth means understanding that not everyone will see your potential or treat you fairly, and that's okay. Whether it's a colleague who overlooks your contributions or a friend who makes a cutting remark, how you respond internally makes all the difference. Instead of seeking immediate validation or engaging in arguments, ask yourself, does this change who I am or what I'm capable of? The answer is almost always no. Choosing to stay quiet and maintain your composure shows that you're confident in who you are. It also sets a powerful example for others, demonstrating that you don't need external approval to feel valued. Reaffirming your self-worth isn't just a one-time decision. It's a practice. Each time you face disrespect and choose not to let it shake you, you strengthen your belief in yourself. This doesn't mean you avoid standing up for yourself when necessary, but it means you pick your moments wisely, responding only when it aligns with your values and preserves your peace. When you let someone's negative words pass without giving them power, you tell yourself that your sense of worth is grounded in who you are, not in how others react to you. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca noted, "He who is brave is free." The bravery to stay silent and keep your peace is a testament to true freedom, freedom from the chains of external judgment. So, how do you reaffirm your self-worth when it's tested? Start by reminding yourself of your accomplishments, your strengths, and what you stand for. When someone's words try to chip away at your confidence, pause and reflect on what you know to be true about yourself. Choose not to let fleeting opinions define your narrative. In the end, you'll find that those who are secure in their self-worth are the ones who inspire the most respect. They're the ones who lead by example, showing that true value isn't proven through endless battles, but through quiet, unshakable confidence. Next time you face disrespect, ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Does this moment define me? By choosing silence and remembering your true worth, you maintain not only your composure but also your power, teaching others that your value isn't subject to their approval. To end this video, I encourage you to take these principles and apply them to your daily life. Remember, staying quiet in the face of disrespect isn't about avoiding confrontation. It's about choosing your peace, reaffirming your self-worth, and showing true inner strength. Reflect on how you respond to challenges. Are you acting in a way that aligns with who you truly are? As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Embrace the power of silence, lead by example, and understand that your worth isn't determined by someone else's opinion, but by your own view of yourself. If this message resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to Stoic in your life for more insights that help guide you on your journey toward personal growth and lasting happiness. Until next time, choose to stay grounded, stay strong, and protect your peace.